Welcome back to the stock portfolio update videos. Currently, the two stock portfolios sit at a combined value of close to 60,000 AUD. That's made up of the 36,695 AUD in my stake portfolio, which is the equivalent of 23,844 USD, and the 23,211 AUD in my Vanguard portfolio. Going through my holdings, nothing has changed. I still hold the same companies, and recently things have gone up. I'm now up 27.7%, which is just over 5,100 USD, or just nearly close to 8,000 AUD total. Looking through, across the last week, the main things that have gone up in my portfolio are the likes of my tech positions like Google, which I recently invested more into, which is now up over 10%. I was down on Google, and then I decided to sell a bit of my JP Morgan stock and take a bit of gains and invest into Google, and it's been strong for me with it being up over nearly 10% in the last month. In the last 3 months it's pretty flat with the same 9 or 10% return, and in the last year it's close to 50%. The reason I decided to invest into Alphabet was because it had the lowest PE ratio out of all the Magnificent 7 and the big tech stocks. I already had an existing position in it, and so far my returns have been solid. But again, this is a long distance investment for myself, as I hold nearly 10 shares, which isn't massive, but it takes my total equity close to $1,500. Going through the rest of my holdings, Apple is a stock that's also been trading a bit up and down recently. If you look at the last week, the stock's pretty much flat, and across the last month it's still down nearly 5.5% from the highs it was previously close to, even 190 at one point. Overall, my total equity is still sitting at around 3,143, and at one point was actually getting closer to 4,000. I own over 18 shares, and the stock price is currently $171. I know some people have been selling out, but I don't have any plans to sell out yet at this moment. Currently, there aren't that much stocks out there on the market that I believe are in a stronger position than what Apple is. And I've gotten some decent gains with it. I'm still up 20%, which is far from the 40% I was up previously, and my average share price is around 142 as I continue to invest as the stock went up. Overall, it has had its ups and downs, and there are lots of questions about the stock's growth and whether Apple can really innovate and produce a new product. I think they're so stable, and it's become a blue chip, whether it's in people's retirements, whether it's in people's growth portfolios, whatever it is, so many people have exposure to Apple. And I think in the long term, like I said with Google, I don't see this going anywhere, and I think it can produce better results than the S&P. Going through the rest, I still have my Amazon position, which is so small. This was a tiny position because I sold out the most of it. But if you look in the last year alone, it's up 77%. So I only have $76 invested, and it's up 35%, which was previously down. I was actually planning on investing in probably around 3 months ago or so, and I decided not to. And now I kind of kick myself looking back, and because it's done such a good job, because I know I watch other people who invest, and they had Amazon in their portfolios, and they kind of went down the reasons to buy or sell, and I decided to invest in Google and other positions. But yeah, if you've been an investor in Amazon just over this last year, you kind of bought the dip, you'd be quite happy, because it's in the last 3 years, it's only up 18%, and it's really only getting back to those previous highs and stuff it was. I believe that was around 2021. But if you were smart enough to buy down in this dip, where similar with other stocks, you would have had a previous year returns of nearly 80%, which is great. Looking at the rest of my holdings, the likes of Costco, this is a stock that has shot up. You can see in the last years up over 51%. And my average share price is all the way down at $4.94. So I'm not buying in anytime soon, as I'm up nearly 50% on it and nearly 500 USD. So this has been a great gainer for me. I know some people have been locking in gains with this, but I'm still yet to decide what I kind of want to do with this holding. I think I'm just going to hold out. I don't see their business model going anywhere. Again, it's only around 1,500. So you can kind of look at my holdings and see they're all pretty much, some of them are kind of similar. Google and Costco are similar size. JP Morgan used to be that size, but like I said, I sold out a little bit. But the next is McDonald's. That's a stock that I invested in when it dipped. and then it kind of shot up. I'm up around 10% on it. I could probably sell out, but the thought is, if I sell out, I'm not too sure where I want to put those funds at the moment. So I'm just kind of sitting on it right now, but I could have really sold out for like 13% gains in a month, which would have been a really nice gain, but I've just kind of ridden it, and I know the previous kind of month or so hasn't been amazing for the stock. It's gone down again, but again, I'm still up in that short time. Next is Microsoft, my biggest individual holding, and my total equity for this is nearly 4,000 USD, and I'm up 55% pretty much, which is 1,400, which is massive for me. In the last 3 months, it's been strong, but over the last week, it's turned down a little bit. I was investing in, because like I said, Apple used to be my biggest individual holding, but I decided to invest in Microsoft because the price was so good at the time. And you can see my average share price was around $271, and now you look at it, it's close to 420. I don't see it coming down anytime soon, or even if it comes down a little bit, not much. They over $3 trillion now market cap, biggest company in the world. And when you look at other analysts, they're still saying buy with their price projections. I don't think you can really go wrong with investing in Microsoft, especially if you take a long-term approach. You can see the steps they're taking in AI. Their core business is still strong. There's a reason why this is my biggest individual holding, and I'm definitely not thinking of selling out anytime soon, even though I've seen really good success over my time of holding it. But I'm probably not buying in right now at the moment either. But there's no knock on you if you do. I think there's always a good time to buy into stocks, and right now probably just isn't for me with my situation. Next is VOO, which takes up roughly 50% of my portfolio. It's had a great year, up 30%, but its last 3 years is also pretty much around 30%. I'm up close to 22%, which isn't great if you look at how long I've been holding it, but I've been dollar cost averaging. That's why my percentage isn't so high, because as I buy in, obviously my average share price is going up, and it's sitting at around $394 at the moment. But like, it's by far my biggest position across everything. It's getting close to 12,000 USD in total. My goal is, which I'll break down, I'll show it in my Excel spreadsheet, to keep this around 50% of my stock portfolio for my stake positions. And I've done that just to kind of keep me diversified, because at the start I used to have major holdings in just the tech stocks. I figured this gives me a bit more exposure. So whilst it is heavily weighted to the big stocks, I still get the exposure to other companies I'm not directly invested in. And speaking of this and VOO, I actually got my biggest ever dividend. So I'll go through that here. Pretty much, I got a dividend of, I'm not too sure how to pull it up on this because they've updated their kind of like how everything looks. But I got a dividend of, I think it was around 37 USD or 30 something USD from VOO. And I also got some dividends from other people. So that takes, I currently have close to $45 in dividends sitting here in now my stake portfolio, which I might just save up until I put my next deposit in and just add it. But it is nice getting these other dividends and kind of seeing that grow, because I've been tracking it. I'll show it again on my Excel part of my dividends per month, and it's nice seeing them all gain. Again, I don't invest for dividends, especially in this portfolio, but it's nice getting them and just reinvesting them. There's no harm done at the end of the day. Going through my Vanguard portfolio next, you can see that's sitting at around $23,211. Again, I'm still holding my two big positions. That is VLC, which is now crossed over $13,113, which is quite nice. The average share price is around 79, and my VGS, which is my international shares, which is just crossed over 10,000. Again, another milestone, and that's sitting around $125 a share. I was actually looking back at some of my old stuff that I was, just my old records, when VGS was actually sitting at around, I think it was under $100 a share. But you can see it's had such a strong previous year's returns. That's why the stock has shot up so much. And I am expecting this month I will get my dividend payments, because they're every 3 months, every quarter. So it will be nice to see how much I get. I'm expecting around over $200 hopefully, which will be a nice little bit in. And when I get it, I'll probably just reinvest it back into my portfolio like I do always, just so I can continuously invest more and kind of get that snowball effect. I'm not changing anything anytime soon. I know I spoke to some people and they were talking about potentially investing in VAS. I have previously invested into that. The only difference is this is a bit more concentrated on the big players, and VAS is a bit more diversified into across all Australian stocks, smaller companies, middle companies, and large companies. With this is just the large companies. I will expect a nice dividend from VLC coming up soon. Going through the Excel part, you can kind of see how everything's broken down. This gives it a bit more of a visual. This is what I was talking about in my American portfolio. You can see around 50% is in VOO. This kind of gives me a bit of diversification, and I plan on keeping it that way. And you can see all my other individual stocks. You can see with my Australian portfolio, the goal is to get it to 50-50. It's now 43.57, so I'll slowly build that one up. But again, I'm in no rush to do that. This is how they've kind of grown over the last you'd say this is like 1.5 years, I think it is. And currently, this is the stake portfolio. You can see it's nice trajectory up over the months. And my Vanguard portfolio, which is a nice trajectory up over the months as well. So as I continue to invest, I'll keep tracking them, keep doing videos, keep putting this all down. And it's just motivational as well to kind of see, because sometimes you're just depositing money and you can't really see how it's going. This kind of gives me a visual and kind of gives you a bit of support almost just to keep doing it, because as the numbers are getting bigger, like I said, my dividends are getting bigger. Kind of going through my dividends, I put them in here. So 49.44 I pretty much got in dividends this month. But next month will be an even bigger month with my Australian ones. So this was just a quick update on how the portfolios are doing in general. Next video, hopefully I'll be over 60,000, I should be. So that will be nice to kind of break that mark as well. That's all for now. Cheers.